Well, good morning, YouTube and Hot Dog Andy. Andy's first in this morning or this afternoon, just as I was making final adjustments. Just give me the heads up that everything is A-OK and you can hear me. Oh, that's great, Andy. I was just going to send a text out to make sure that everything is working order. Always a challenge. I am using the Blue Yeti once again this morning because this setup seems to work. So today it's a very whiskey day, as you can see around the layout there. I've got 3 trains set up, hauling grain and whiskey tankers. These particular wagons, they're from a variety of sources, and sometimes they come off the rails. Now, I've gone through most of them to try and ensure that it's not going to do that, but sometimes it's either the hooks or the knuckles that are not lining up properly. So I'll just do this for a couple of minutes. Willow Creek, hey, how you doing? Willow Creek, now, if I remember correctly, Brad, we're in Australia or somewhere in the US. Just can't remember. But thanks for dropping by. Because I've seen you and said hi a few times in the different live broadcasts that you've been on recently. So as I was saying, the problem with some of these grain carriers is some of them have got the traditional hook and others, oh, New Zealand, yeah, right, okay. Sorry about that. I think we had discussed this before, and I told you I had been down there a couple of times. Once was taking a cruise out of Auckland, sailing down the coast, and then over to Hobart, and then Sydney, and then Melbourne, down to Frankston, that area where a friend of our family had moved to from New Zealand. And his family, his parents had taken them from Glasgow to Wellington in the 60s under the £10 deal. Yeah, they certainly are little white Andrew, that's true. So yeah, this one particular friend, he moved from Wellington down just south of Frankston. Where he is a master builder, he builds luxury homes. When we were down there last, we stayed a couple of nights with them in this beautiful home that he had built, and he was staying in it, I think, for a year and then selling it as he moved on, transitioned into another build. Of course, I think I also told you that I visited Hobbiton because I'm a big fan, and went to the Weta Cave in Wellington. The brother of the friend I just spoke about, he left high school in Wellington. He got the job with iPad Film, selling film, and he told me in a letter, "Oh, you should keep an eye out for this young filmmaker that I follow. Oh yeah, you're Queenstown, Dunedin, one of those nice places down there, and they're all nice. Everyone we stopped in was fantastic. So yeah, he said, keep an eye out on this young producer. His name's Peter Jackson. Who would have known? Many years later, 5 years ago, I was down in San Diego at Comic Con, and I met and spoke with Sir Richard Taylor, who is the other owner of Weta Studios. And you know, he, like many others, did the £10 cruise. His family decided they would move to New Zealand back in the 60s also. So lots of people like that. And, you know, I took lots of photographs of trains around New Zealand, and I should post them sometime. What's weird about Comic Con is I'm into art, concept art, etc. You know, I sketch all the time, and I like making stuff. But not the fantasy world, but you know, I love the movies like Dune, Star Wars, The Hobbit, and everything else that goes along with it. And then you get to meet some of these people, some of the artists, makers, who would gather at these Comic Con. And in fact, I was out in, oh yeah, Doctor Who's, yeah, I know, it's wild. I was out in Winnipeg, Manitoba, having been posted there to look after the project. Went through the Comic Con in Winnipeg, and I met one of the guys from Outlander, and who was also in The Hobbit, McTavish, Graham McTavish. I went and spoke with him. He's Scottish, of course. Nice guy. So, you know, another guy, if you remember the movie 2001, Keir Dullea played the new character. And Keir Dullea was from Quebec, from Montreal, I believe. And when I was at the Comic Con here in Toronto, Mark Hemmeldown, great to see you here, Mark. How are you? Really glad you're back on tracks here and on the platform. Great to see you here, Mark. Thank you for dropping in. Kelly Ashford, of course you can. Yeah. Let me see. Garrett's locomotive shed. Good afternoon. You must be here, or you must be in the UK, because it's still it's 10 minutes after 10 here locally in the Toronto area. Just have to fix what a low tanker here. I'm actually going to I think this is one problematic one here. I'll tend to later. Hopefully that will get you in. Yeah, sorry, interrupted there by that roll. I had to jiggle around with some of them because they had those knuckle tight couplings. I had to change one out, get a hook on it. Todd Armstrong, hi there. Good to see you. And Chris, you're in there too. Yeah, there you are. How are you, Chris? So, as I was saying, I had to replace a knuckle with a hook so that I could get it onto the locomotive. And that's an old 9F. I'm going to get out of here and something else. So I'm dealing with me. Yeah, so the old 9F that you see going around there, I bought it years ago on eBay from a guy in the UK, and he says it's heavily weathered. I said, fine, no problem. So it sure is. But it looks pretty good and runs well, and I've never had to do anything to it. And that's been at least 5 years ago. So, okay, Andy, we'll catch you. Thanks for dropping by. Appreciate it. Anyway, so yeah, the couplings. It's always sure that you have to consider and the wheels as well, because you can easily get out of alignment. Yeah, Kelly, I've got lots of steam trains. So I'm not sure if you've seen these before, but there's a selection there of diesel, electric, and some steam trains. And then of course I've got like like everybody else, I've got boxes under the tables. Yeah, Mark, I saw you were there again during the week and complimented you on that viaduct. I mean, that scene there just really sets it off. I just love that scene. You did a great job on it. I think, Kelly, yes, I am. I was born in Glasgow, and I served my apprenticeship as a draftsman in John Brown Shipyard. And you know, in the late 60s, early 70s, the Tory government were closing down shipyards, so they were refusing to fund the shipyards. And we had just built the QE2 with lots of ships on order, but the government pulled the funding. And as such, people were getting laid off, but the unions pulled together in the 3 or 4 shipyards that were still operating in the Glasgow area, pulled together and resolved that if you were laid off on the Friday, you were to come back into work on the Monday, and the union would pay your wages. And so they did that for, just give me a second. What was involved? I'm in a second. Yeah, this one particular. Oh, put my eye out there. Okay, so to continue, while I get this rearranged. So the union will pay the wages of the workers that have been laid off. And I can't remember exactly, but it went on for a year or two, till eventually John Brown Shipyard was sold off to an American company from Texas. And they built oil rigs. Now, in John Brown's, we had built oil rigs for the North Sea and other locations. So we were a good fit for that company. Marathon Latrine of Houston, Texas. But we also had a shipyard out in Singapore. And what they did was they brought in their management team, and then they changed the way that we did the drawings of the ships, a whole different system, more kind of piecemeal, breaking it down to every plate, angle, and bracket. anyway, during that time, friends of mine who had served their apprenticeship at the same time were all beginning to move away, and some went to Germany, some went to Southampton on the south coast of England. Thought they could fix something here. And one guy went to Greece. So myself and another guy applied for a job in Canada. We didn't get it, and maybe it was a good thing because it was in a place called Thunder Bay, which is up north at the far end of Lake Huron. And pretty desperate weather up there. Anyway, I ended up in another place, a couple of hours north of Toronto. So yes, I am Scottish. I thought it might have been obvious by my accent, but I've been here a long time, and as such, your voice begins to change. Hello, Digger. Good to see you, Digger. How's your layout coming along, and all those nice North American buildings that you're constructing? They look great. And as I told you when I was in George's Trains, we've got a whole resale area, lots of nice buildings. It's a whole different selection from what we've got. Yeah, anyway, so, you know, I've been away a long time from Glasgow, and I've been back often. What happens is your voice, your speech changes through time because people would generally not comprehend everything that you say. So that's what went on. And it's interesting how I moved away from Glasgow. Now my two daughters have moved away from Toronto. One is now Anthony Dodge. I'm honoured by your presence, Anthony. Welcome. So the one daughter is in social media, and she moved to Los Angeles, where her and her now husband both have their own social media thing going. And then the other daughter, her and her husband have got a knife company. They sell on Amazon. They live in Florida, so in the winter we go and visit them for different periods of time. And generally what we do is we would go and get an Airbnb. It's okay staying with them for a week, whatever, but after that, we got to allow them their own time and space. And so Airbnb does that. And that's one reason why I post as many videos as I do at this point in time, because they won't be at the station through the winter. So I like to get stuff out there. And what I'll probably do is, while I'm away, I'll take something with me that I can post. And what I did previously, you might see if you look around the channel, that there was I stopped in at a few major stations in the Mediterranean. I did a review of the stations of the train, so something to fill the gap into. So I'm just going to change this EWNS up, and I've got a Fowler 4F. I'm going to try and run around here. So nice and slow, does it? That's an Airfix Fowler, and it runs great. It's got a little bit of a sound in it, like noise, not sound of an engine, but noise. And I have 3 of those. I can't remember exactly how I ended up with 3, but I got them at different times, and they were such a good deal. But like you can't. Well, you could run 3 at the same time if you wanted, but they've all got the same number, and they are. I believe they're all Airfix. But it runs well, and it's pushing those main carriers around quite easily. Well, it's a British Railways 4454. I think it may have been LNER in another life. I don't think I've got another example of it here. But yeah, it's a nice little engine. Just do a quick tour for those of you who haven't been here before. So those are the trees. I'm going to do solo layout here. Those are the trees I did in the style of Boomer's diorama, and I'm very pleased with that outcome. It was challenging, but it turned out well. And here's an example of a tenement building. It's just a print out, and I put it onto some black foam core just to give it a little bit of depth. I'm planning on making a few more tenement buildings to be more representative of the Glasgow street scene, because right now I've got a mixture of things. And there are the flats that I've got from the magazine. I built that. I mean, it turned out really well. I'm very pleased with it. And the funny thing is, in Glasgow, there are these flats in Partick, where I'm from originally, and I posted this on my Facebook channel, and I said to people in that area, when you're walking along Dumbarton Road, take a glance up Exeter Drive and tell me if you recognise anything. And sure enough, they all saw that was not exactly right, but they believed it to be the same building. So, it's all smoke and glass, as they say. And the Tivoli, I just put that name on there because in Partick there was a cinema called the Tivoli. Now, I might replace that one with a scratch build of the actual Tivoli. I'll get around to it at some point. And that's the Glasgow Fire Brigade. Got that from EFE. And there's some scratch building of relay boxes and cables. I 3D printed the cable boxes. And then I used Evergreen products for the cable trays. Used my one catenary I've got so far. Digger knows all about this because I pestered him for dimensions at one time, and he helped me out with that. So in the end, what I did was I went to Steel Model Machinery and I bought what I thought was a complete set, but it turned out that the headspan only was in the package. To buy the mass, that was an additional purchase. So what I did was I scratch built those from Evergreen products using channel sections and flats, and it worked out perfect. Now, I had a sample here. So that there was my original scratch built concept piece. You can see there's a difference in height. And I think that would be more representative of the actual height. And if I put it out here and waited for train to come by, you might get an idea of how high it would need to be. So you can see, the registers would be hanging below that. And there'd still be room for the, I can't remember the word, for that to pick up the wire. It's funny how you forget things, right? Anyway, so as I said, that was the first concept, and from that I built that, and I made 3 or 4 of these. I'll probably build more of the posts, the mass to, and I'll put them around the layout, but I won't be putting any wire in. So moving along, that there is the first thing. That's a low profile warehouse. I used corrugated paper or card from a box, ripped it up with corrugated paper, or in fact, in this case, I think I bought a package of corrugated paper from the dollar store, or you find it in the pound store, or a nap shop, and then I fabricated that. This here, I used the papers for the corrugations in this building, a cement facility. Just cardboard tube, plastic cut out windows, etc. So I really don't have room for it at the moment. because my plans kind of changed on what it was going to be, what the layout was going to be like. And in the background, that's the Kingsway underground station, which was a free giveaway, and got it out, put it together, and it looks pretty good back there. Albeit it's not like the Glasgow style, which I'm also going to scratch build. So these are Airfix. Hey Clive, what did you get in the mail today? So these are, some of you have seen this, but some of you have not. They are the old Triang car carriers that came with the Caravelle set. And I've got a number of these, complete with the vehicles. And the idea of this came from, well, I saw something in a magazine that someone had done this. They'd taken an airplane Spitfire, put it up, and then modified the car carrier to carry the Spitfire. And that's what I did. And that worked out good. And here's some wagon loads. Yeah, some wagon loads. It's just plastic card with some black tape on it. I painted it, added a little bit of rust. Looks great. Now this here is representative of the tenement where I was born in Partick, round the corner from Partick Hill Station. And it's depicting the factor coming to tell the residents that they're going to be moved and that they should arrange to pack up and be moved to a new location. I built this out of grey card, and I used black poster paper card for the tiles. I used some modelling clay for the chimneys, and either used spaghetti or evergreen tubes for the chimney pots. And the figures came from Magnet. Lucky that I found those ones because they're circa 1940s, 50s, 60s, and they work out fine. So I built these cuttings just out of foam, painted them, added some bushes, etc. And I think it's perfect entranceway to the tunnel. Now, Queen Street Station and also the old Buchanan Street Station were, of course, terminus stations and had tunnels for which the trains entered and exit. So, while it's not prototypical, it gives you that flavour. And I built this from plastic card and wood. That was really simple. I made a video about that if you're interested in seeing it. And the oil tank once again, scratch built. That's a cardboard tube. And I built the walls out of cardboard, covered them, and then stained everything. Bits and pieces from wherever I could get them. And there's the station master's house. Grey card, really simple build, and it looks very effective. So 3D printing. There's a pressure vessel. I designed and modelled this. Mick, hey, good afternoon, Mick and Tom. How are you? So that's how you getting on with the 3D prints. So sent Tom the file for this. Now I built this using Tinkercad, and you can scale it up, scale it down, and make it suit your own environment. But that was a simple make. This here is the shuttle board. The shuttle runs all the way around the inside here. And Boy Scouts honour, Tom, I'm going to get to this. It's all wired up. I just have to add in a 5-volt power plug and hook it up, and then we're good to go. I have to set aside time for that. So over there, I'm making it into a bit of a scrapyard. I haven't finalised it yet, but actually the concept there. Now, this is one of my early builds. We were up in the Highlands on holiday one time, and I took photographs of an old church. So I decided I would build it, and this is what I came up with. It fits in just perfectly up there. I'll just turn this around so that I don't get caught. The bridge was inspired by Tony Northeastern. I watched Tony build his bridge, and I thought, I can do that. So I got my old trammel set out that I used to use when I was a draftsman, and I laid out the arches and everything else. And it's all made from mat board. The flange, the web, the two flanges in the web were all laid out, cut out, and then, you know, I encouraged the flanges around the web, glued it all together, and painted it and rusted it up, as you can see. Now, this here is another simple build out of foam core. I just laid that out one day and cut it out, threw some paper on it and stained it, and yeah, amazing what you can do. And there's it may have been a plate layer's hut or something, but trackside, really simple. It might be abandoned, but you know, it fits in. So that brings us back to the station. I've got a couple of North American trains up there. I don't run them very often, but we'll do that next time maybe. And here I took, I think that might be a Wells bridge, I can't remember, and added a beam at the bottom and put in a couple of pipes, painted it, weathered it, and the whole idea it would go from here and then another one over to that side. So I've yet to figure that out, but that's another task on the list. I'm going to build a little power station. I bought this for $5 or $7 at George's Trains, 3D printed. It's 187. You can never know the difference. So let's see what's happening now. Dan the man, welcome. Thanks for dropping by, Dan. You're on the run, chores to do. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I've got a couple of things that I've got in the mail. So I'm going to unbox them. It won't take long. Yeah, and thanks for dropping by, Dan. So I'll need to change. I need to change this up. We'll full screen this. Anyway, let me just get the first one here. Yep. So, yeah, a small package, and I was looking at it, see where it came from, and it's come from a town called Ajax. It's got a long history connection with Britain and the Royal Navy. So, thinking Ajax, I don't remember ordering anything from Ajax. And then I realised what it was. At least I think I know what it is. Yep. So it's a little ammeter. Now, it's actually come all the way from China via Ajax. And why would that surprise me? But the funny thing is, and this was through Temu, I ordered one thing either on Amazon or eBay, whatever, and it's taking weeks to get here. Weeks. And I think it's still got a couple of weeks to go before it gets here, and ordered it long before this one. So I was inspired to get these by our great friend Alan in the Law. Because, often Alan would open up his video and he would be at the control panels, and he had a few of these ammeters on there. I thought, wow, that looks really, really interesting. So corresponded with Alan, and he told me what they were doing and where he got them. Well, he just said you get them easily on the internet. And as I've got a variety of not only triangle, Hornby, Blackman, old and new stuff, it would just be interesting to know what was going on. I've had a calamity here. I need to stretch around for a second. Excuse me while I fix this. Yeah, sorry about that. It's that 9F dropped a couple of those whiskey wagons in the tunnel. Just bring it in. The other thing about some of these older Triangle Hornby ones is they have tires. At least some of them have tires, and if you lose a tire, then it doesn't run so well as you know. I'll see if I can get something else out here. Yeah, so there's always something sort of keep you busy. Anyway, in the meantime, I'll get this other box. Now, this one will be of interest to you from our friends at Amazon Prime. I'll assume this is the top. It's a bit bigger, so I know what's in here. Well, there's a couple of things, and the first thing is this. It's a scribe. I'll just get it out. And the reason I bought this is, well, I do a bit of scratch building, and I'm actually going to be. I'm in the process of building a little spaceship using plastic art, and I want to be able to scribe the panels on the spaceship. So there you go. There's two of them. Tiny little thing. One is 0.5 125 and the other is 0.1 millimeters. So that will give me lots to do. If you're interested in scratch building and spaceships and all that kind of stuff, I do have a couple of videos up on my channel where I demonstrated how I found this item in the charity shop, and it reminded me of a Zeppelin. And it turns out it was a Lego container, but I thought this would make a perfect spaceship. So I went about going through my bin of parts and taking apart an old computer and an old printer, and then I adhered all bits and pieces onto it, sprayed it, and then touched it up. So if you're interested, you can get to it that way. Anyway, so I'm doing this other smaller spaceship from scratch out of plastic card. I saw this guy on the internet, on YouTube, doing it, and I thought, I could do that. So for a small fee, you can download his plans and templates, and then you just cut it out and then follow his instructions, glue it all together. So, all right, so this is, look at that, an airbrush. Now, I've got a couple of airbrushes, but you know, one's not working well, and the other one was kind of cheap. So I looked around to see which one was going to be suitable and at a reasonable price. And you know, think about, well, if I can get something used locally through Facebook, Facebook Market, I would do that. I'd get the small compressor, because I've got a larger compressor in the garage, but it'd be nice to have a small compact compressor. Anyway, well, I found this, good reviews, and the thing is, well, let's just see. So there you go. There's the compressor and the brush all in one. Just going to see it. Well, there's lots of missing lots of chat here. On 15 minutes, 15 kilometres west of Ajax. Todd, I live in Richmond Hill. Don't live in Toronto. I just say Toronto because if I say Richmond Hill, people go, oh, where's that? And then I have to explain. So we're about halfway, just about, to each other. What a small world. So there's the little compressor. Nice little size. You can hook it up there. And then there's 3 settings on it. You can see those lights there on the bottom. 3 different pressure settings. So just find a spot for that. Put this one down, and this will be the airbrush. Okay. So there's the airbrush now, isn't that nice piece of equipment? And it is Ovaga, if you're interested. Ovaga. O-V-A-G-O. And of course it comes with the cleaning pin, a nice hose, and USB cable connection. And that's terrific. You get all that. Think one other thing, a nice block, heavy box, protect it, because in the bottom of the box are all these paints. Now, that's going to come in real handy. I mean, I've got lots of paints, but you can never have enough, and you never know when you're going to need a particular paint, but 12 different paints. Or 11 different paints. That's an outstanding value. And one last box here. And you get 3 different size containers. How's that? So that is outstanding value. And what I love about it, that box, it's very much a case of, you know, when you get a new iPhone and you get that box, you go, wow, look at this. And then open it, and open something else, and then lift that piece out. So well packaged. That's the Apple way. That is excellent packaging, excellent marketing, and excellent value. So if you're looking for something like an airbrush of any sort, have a look for Ovago on. Just get this thing going. Yeah, so have a look for Ovago and see if it's something that you might be interested in. Let's get back to the chat. Oh, the A4, yeah, for sure. Sorry if I missed that. Yeah. Yeah, that's a nice one. And actually, Kelly, if you send me your address, I will send you a painting, a small painting on a card. Well, it will be a print of the original. Yeah, I can send you. It's about 4x6 or something like that. And then I have this LMS one here. That's a kind of limited edition one. Very different. But yeah, if you go into my Instagram account, which is Charlie McGowan 1104, you'll see all my artwork there, and you will see the one I did of the A4 coming out of a tunnel, racing past. I think it's a young boy and his dog or something that I included. But yeah, do that, and if you're interested, send me your address, and I'll send you a copy of that. And thanks for dropping by. And of course, Alan Reynolds is in the house. Good to hear from you and see you, Alan. What's happening down in Dover? Busy this afternoon. And Brian's in here also. And there's Lee. How are you, Lee? How's Liverpool today? Is there a game on? I know you're a big Liverpool fan. Hi, Kelly. James, how are you? Yeah. I use a Grex airbrush. Well, yeah, I don't know how much that would cost, but this was a great deal. And can't go wrong. So it's interesting. James lives in Dundas, correct me if I'm wrong, which is maybe on a good day, maybe an hour and 20 minutes or an hour and a half southwest of where I am. And Boyd lives maybe 15 kilometres, 20 kilometres away to the east of me. Small world. Yeah, so you've got a troublesome wagon. And of course, when one goes, the rest go. I think that one's just a little bit wobbly. I'm just going to move this one around here. Yeah, got a little fault somewhere. Oh, yeah, they've just all gone El Collapso. Not paying attention, and of course, that's what happens when you look away. And if your hooks aren't in the correct position, it can be a problem for you. Try that again. Yeah. So Clive, your test of those locomotives was pretty good. Everything worked out just fine. And it's nice that you've got those 3 tracks that you can do that while you're working on the new layout. Not really sure what's Yeah, that wasn't meant to happen. Well, there you go. Two trains in the one track. I'll just step back and we'll get back to the main line. Okay. So a nice selection of tankers there. Picked up over the years, different places, different times. And those mainline tankers, they're really, really nice value. And there's still lots of them around. Yeah, Clive, but yeah, but at least, as I said, you can check out your purchases and test them while you work on that new one. And you know, it's difficult to get an understanding of the magnitude of the work that you're going to undertake. But you're probably the best judge of time, and maybe you can give us an overall view of what your plans are so that we can keep track of what you're up to. No pun intended, but there you have it. So as I said before, one of the biggest challenges with having a variety of old and new stuff is trying to minimize the amount of derailments. And you know, I make an effort to make sure that I've got everything cleaned and there's no chips. I guess the big one that is an issue would be the coupling. That's always an issue. But just talking about Clive, there you go, Clive. That's R098 crew coach for the breakdown crane. And I don't know how much this cost me, but I don't think it's even been out the box. Because you've got one of these, and I think you paid a lot of money for yours. Well, this might be $20, $25, I think. I can't remember. It might be $30, but that's a lot of money. Well, yeah, and board alignment. I know what you mean. Because even in this small space, not quite sure what happened, but around about the station, if I didn't have a local on some of these trains, I might find that they would just roll to the one side. and that may be because I put those adjustable feet on the posts, but you know, I might have to get under there and change it up a bit. But yeah, I guess if you need a couple of pairs of hands to look after the alignment. You know, just one thought: if you took a two before and put a couple of them over the joint, screw them down onto the boards, and then disconnected whatever the connection was in the underside, and where you would probably get a bolt and a nut and a washer, and then drill new holes and put new bolts and washers in. Then you can remove the temporary tubing board on the top, and hopefully your table would be aligned. I don't know, I'm not an expert, and on that subject, I'm not an expert in anything. I just want you to know that I am not an expert in anything. I don't espouse to be an expert. You know, I'm not an expert in making trees. I'm not an expert in scratch building or maintaining locomotives or cleaning wheels or anything like that. I'm not an expert. I've learned from many, many people I know that are experts, but I just wanted to be a disclaimer and get it out there that I am not an expert. So, I think I'll show you a couple of things. So here's a 9F, the evening staff. And this is one that came this came with the it came with that magazine that was out years ago. So they entice you to buy one, and every fortnight will be another magazine with another local. So I had a cousin in Glasgow, and I said, "Can you get into the newsagents and order this?" And they did. And then they came over here for a holiday, and they bought a case holiday for locomotive. And they look fantastic. I mean, they're really happy that I got them. You won't always see it in the correct light. Look at that. You know, just fantastic looking. I've never had them out of the box. There's one more in here. It's in the bottom. Let's see if I can. Yeah. Look at that. Fantastic. So I had a few others, but I gave them away. And in fact, I think Dino was the recipient of one of them. Okay, Anthony, thank you for dropping by. I know you have a busy day today, so I'll catch up with you later. All being well, Anthony. I think you're on this evening. Piccadilly, yes, John, how are you? Good to see you in here. Yeah, I just thought I'd go on, John, for catch up with everybody. I used to try and do it every Saturday, but things got complicated, and then I do it when I could do it on a Saturday, and so I thought I'd drop by and try and make it a regular thing, and hopefully I'm not treading on anybody's toes, or their space or anything like that. Yeah, James, thank you for dropping by. Yeah, John, so you can see there's the catenary. And once again, the head span was from scale model scenery, and the masts I scratch built from plastic cap evergreen products. And you see the difference here with my original mock-up. I know we spoke about height. This might be a better height for it. Not that I'm going to be running wires around there, but it's just all about aesthetics. Let's just see if I can. Give me a second here to haul something out from the shelf. So there you can see what it might be like. Now, that's too high, John, and I know you'll agree. It's probably better suited for that. Or, I don't recall, it might be 30 millimeters in 00 scale, the depth of the register, or how far down it goes. And we'll look at all the dimensions again. And as I build more, I'll make that adjustment. But the maths were easy to do. I just got I cut up a couple of pieces of channel section, and then cut some flats, and then just glued it all together. And it worked out just fine. I put them in that orientation so that I knew I was going to get the diagonal brace supported. But maybe the next one I'll rotate the mast so that the transmission of the loads are in a different direction and probably more suitable. Oh, there's physics, right? Mechanics. And John, this is for John's benefit. There are the trees that I made as per Boomer's diorama. They were done with the use of 24 gauge wire. Got it around here somewhere, but can't put my hands on it. So, I bought these sticks of the craft store, and then what I did was, as per Boomer's diorama, I got the wire that you can purchase from the craft store, and then wind it around what will be the trunk, and then make loops for the branches. And I did a couple of videos on that. So I did it what I thought was the exact way that Boomer does his. And I'm very pleased with the outcome. And as Boomer said, you can sit down and churn out a whole forest very quickly. Yeah, thanks, John, but it's thanks to Boomer. As I said earlier, it's thanks to everybody out there, because I learned something from everybody. Well, you know, John, I bombarded you with questions. I was overexcited, I must admit. But yeah, I like to go in there and reach out to people who are like-minded and know more than me. And that enables me to move forward with an idea, a concept, and then I get the correct methodology. Yeah, John, I'll work on that. And I've looked closely at yours and tried to gauge just exactly how much clearance you've got there. And it's challenging, but as I said, from the dimensions that I've been able to find about the registers, I think it's 38 millimeters to the wire from the underside, the bottom cord of the brace, right? Well, look, guys, I've been on here for an hour and 27 minutes, ranting on. I want to vacate the space for someone else to go on and show us what they're doing. But I tell you, I am extremely grateful that you've all taken the time to stop by. What a great community. And I hope to try and make this regular and show other locomotives and sets that I have that you might be interested in seeing, or whatever I've got in the mail. But I'll never be able to compete with Clive. Clive is a postman for sure. Absolutely no doubt. Anyway, I'm just going to let this run out, and I'll take off. And thank you once again for dropping by. And I'll see you out there in the next platform. And I'll be watching for what you put up. Take care, and bye for now.